Hello folks, Double RPG here with another Nintendo news story on the 2 cents block just for you that is related to the biggest and best franchise ever made, Mario. Speaking of Mario, the game on screen is New Super Mario Bros. Wii. While it may not be the best 2D Mario game or the best New Super Mario Bros. Game in general, this game is wicked awesome for being the first 2D Mario game to include simultaneous 4-player co-op so that you and your buddies can help each other out, or for each of you to unleash your dark side upon one another. By all means, pick it up if you haven't, as it's definitely a keeper in your collection of Wii games. While it may not be the 2D Mario game where we are craving for online play, that may bound to come at some point in the future. We may never know. With today's topic on hand is in relation towards the two games coming from within the New Super Mario Bros. Brand. New Super Mario Bros. 2 on the 3DS, and New Super Mario Bros. U on the Wii U that is coming as a launch title. Finally, a Mario game comes at launch! Woohoo! According to an interview with the official Nintendo magazine publication from the UK, Mario series co-creator Takashi Tezuka explained about why the new Super Mario Bros. Games haven't really changed in terms of the core gameplay. When asked by Satoru Iwata about whether or not the team behind the games are currently running out of ideas, here's what Tezuka stated. "We haven't changed the core central part of the game. Even as we're working on the game, we say to ourselves, are we sure this is the way we want to go? We don't change it. We can't change it because we know those parts were fun, and it's because we remember it." He also makes a comment about the little changes that takes place within every game. If you compare them, it's quite clear. We make our decisions on what feels best each time in that game. The speed of the game, the amount of jumping. We don't change it a lot, but it does change, and there's also what actions Mario takes that make you afraid, or how it's scary if you run into an enemy. So we develop the game like that, so emotions like that are what you experience most clearly. Finally, Tezuka says that the main goal with every game is not to drastically change the series, as he wants many people to play each game as much as possible. Mario games, particularly 2D side-scrolling Mario games, have changed little by little over the years. When we're making these games, we're always thinking about how to get as many people playing as possible and how to make them accessible. When I take a look at these quotes, I can see where Takashi Tezuka is coming from when basing his statements from a traditional standpoint, but at the same time, I can see where there may be potential to improve the series based on a conceptual standpoint. First of all, let me get out of the way with the traditional standpoint. The 2D Mario games, or just Mario games in the main series in general, always had you play in the shoes of everyone's favorite Italian plumber, as he must go to many different places in order to rescue Princess Peach. It was the game that defined that tradition for over 25 years, and it hasn't even changed. Each game would have their own unique gimmicks and mechanics that would help you get through the many different levels and worlds within each game, so they all had a different meaning between how you play the game instead of where the next game should go instead of having the same principle as the last. The Super Mario Bros. Games up until now always stuck with the same principle, and it still works. As long as each game has their different gameplay mechanics, then it shouldn't make every game become very stale. Super Mario Bros. 3 has limited flight capabilities and a plethora of different power-ups. Super Mario World gave you more flight and the ability to ride on Yoshi. Super Mario 64 had you roaming the castle and going through different levels in 3D for the first time. Super Mario Sunshine had you use a mechanized water pump to clean up stages or to fight off enemies with it. And the Super Mario Galaxy games utilize gravity as a function for when traveling in space between the different worlds. New Super Mario Bros. Is a series that is more of a throwback to the old NES days with Super Mario Bros. 1 and 3 and Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo, and people loved those games because of how revolutionary they were for their time. So it's like nostalgia rushes back at them when they play the new Super Mario Bros. Games on the DS and the Wii. If something isn't broke, then don't fix it. It's as simple as that. Why is it that journalists and people are complaining about there being 2 more games in the new Super Mario Bros. Lineup is only leaving me more confused and baffled at once. Mario games are more about the gameplay, not the graphics. Sure, the 3DS and Wii U games may be launching close to each other, but is that necessarily a bad thing? Looking at both of them shows that the two versions will have their own merits to be different from one another and the other games. New Super Mario Bros. 2 will have the Midas touch where you can turn everything to gold and collect over 1 million coins in the process, while New Super Mario Bros. U will have more of an emphasis on variety, platforming puzzles, and vastly detailed landscapes that look much diversified. Look at the level that looks like a Vincent van Gogh painting, and take a look at one of the levels from the first world that has more landscapes than ever before. They're just beautiful. I mean, I can't even get enough of them, and I'm definitely picking up that game when it comes out with the Wii U at day one launch. Let us now shift gears and take a look at how the series can improve from a conceptual standpoint. Throughout the years, Mario games from Super Mario Bros. Up until now have pitted you with two goals in mind: run to the end of each level and to rescue Princess Peach. That linear formula hasn't even changed within 2D Mario games, and it can tend to get a bit repetitive for those who want something fresh and new. When you look at all the main series games that have been different from one another when it comes to the 2D Mario titles, then Super Mario Bros. 2, aka Doki Doki Mario, was the one that was the most radical departure in terms of the first game's concept. It may seem like a Mario game in some instances, but the concept of getting through the game from beginning to end was entirely different. Instead of Bowser to worry about, you had to worry about Wart, and you could play as Mario, Luigi, Toad, and the Princess, with each of them having their own unique set of merits. For instance, Mario was the balanced character, Luigi could jump higher and at great distances, Toad can pick up items and throw them faster than anyone else, and Peach could jump in the air and float over holes and gaps for a brief period. There was also quite a bit of puzzle solving involved, as some of the levels made you use your head to figure out how you can get out of them without losing so many lives. As you can see, that Mario game was the only time where it was different from any other installment. Many people tend to disregard and criticize that game with a flaming passion to this very day, but the reason why longtime fans of side-scrollers love and like that game is because the game was different. If we have any more new Super Mario Bros. Games coming to future consoles and handhelds, I think it's about time we should see those four protagonists go on another adventure. Whether if the game should be through the Mushroom Kingdom or not is left up to you, and as well as Nintendo. You want a couple of other games that are different? Take a look at Yoshi's Island on the Super Nintendo and Super Princess Peach on the DS. These spin-offs were different with their gameplay mechanics for a Mario game, and they worked. Even the Flash game called Super Mario 63 on Newgrounds is another great example. People love them. The RPG and sports games are fun in their own rights, but that's aside from the point. Or better yet, how about having Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Bowser go on a side-scrolling adventure where each of them has their own abilities and stats with a sense of exploration and non-linearity? Oh wait, that's Super Paper Mario, isn't it? Well, how about for a main series Mario game or for a new Super Mario Bros. Game in general? There are so many possibilities to improve on the gameplay for Mario games, where the core mechanics shouldn't alienate from hardcore fans and casuals alike. If we see some changes with different concepts while keeping the core gameplay still intact, I think the Mario series can do just fine. Besides, it can do just fine in almost anything other than the mediocre educational games on the NES and SNES alone. Why did they even exist? Or why does Hotel Mario even exist? Get that out of here! Ugh! Now I want to hear from all of you. Would you rather have the 2D Mario games stick with tradition, or do you believe it is time for Nintendo to experiment with trial and error on other concepts for the series? Leave a comment below to let me know of your own 2 cents, and be sure to rate this video and subscribe to my channel for more content coming from me in the future. This is RRPG signing off, and thanks for watching.
Wow.